Hey everybody, I got the microphone on this time. We have some really good news. We have a partial win right now. Hakko released the firmware for the FM203 and they released the firmware for the FX972 and the FX971 and the FX, I think that's 806. Got to pop that up. 805. And they sent me an email a couple hours ago. I didn't check it until like an hour after I received it, but I already had my other video with my rant scheduled about their manuals. How it's not necessary to create a manual. Just provide firmware and schematics. That's it. You don't have to go through all the trouble to create a manual. But let me show you the email I received from them today. Right here. Here's the email. It says, thank you for your inquiry. As a registered user of the service section of our online knowledge base, you can download the latest firmware for the FM203 starting station from the firmware section. Note that the service manual is currently under revision and will be posted in the manual section as soon as it becomes available. Well, I hope Hakko provides the schematics for all revisions, because that is part of right to repair. That is part of my request, was all the equipment, all schematics. I appreciate Hakko providing the firmware. We're going to open up the firmware here in just a second. Let me open up. I already downloaded it. We'll go over to that tab. Hold on. Right here. So if you go into the firmware here, it was uploaded 3 hours ago from this live stream. I tried to do the live stream about an hour and a half ago, but they said it was not working, my wireless card, so. And there it is. I don't know why that took forever. But last modified, uploaded by Chris Stuber. I really think Chris Stuber went to bat on this. I hope they provide the schematics for this FM203, all the revisions, 971, 951, all of them. Just get it out there. Be a leader in the industry. Show others how it needs to be done. I think it'll be a good thing. So I've already downloaded the file. And I'll download it again there, but I have it open here. You can see this. Let me pull that up. Where did it go? Lost my tab. Okay. There it is. This file was done, can't see it from here. 7/8/2011 is when this is when that file was created. So it's a Motorola format, so it must be using Serger or Renaissance programmer. So I've already got it loaded. It's got an offset of 4,000. I'll load it again just so you can see the error. I won't. We're just going to open up the buffer here. Yeah, because they offered the schematics a long time ago. If I'd sign a NDA, I don't sign NDAs for documents. So, we know that we know they've got the schematics. And I really hope the manual revision has the schematics. And if mysteriously I wake up one day and I have an email here soon and it says, "Hey, we revised the manual and we provided the schematics," that's going to be awesome. You know, do I have faith it's going to happen? I don't know, but you know, I think Chris Stuber's been working behind the scenes. They've been awfully quiet, and I hope they have came to their senses. So let's open up the buffer. Okay, we have the buffer open. We have some data. It's organized and arranged a bit differently than the software I backed up the other day live. I will link that in the comments after the video here. Let me get into the buffer here. Okay, there we go. So this one, it starts at 4,000. So that's where the data on this one starts. So I don't know if they changed the chip model, but if we locate, let me get the address here for the ID code. FFDF is where it starts. So FFD, get in here. FFDF. Boom, right there. Okay, the original one. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yes, you can. Okay. So the original was a 48 4B 30 30 32 35 36 was the programming code. So this is the right area. So this looks like it's kind of valid data. So now we've got a 48 4B 30 32 35 36 42. So even if I would have found an FM203, most likely we would have went for a download and a backup of it, and the code would have been incorrect. So we would have probably had to take it off and read the chip to get the code. So again, I appreciate Hakko from responding to my message, because I did email them, let them know I did pull the code and send them a copy of the code, and that was yesterday, I believe. And today I get an email saying, yes, we will release the firmware. So this is how you have to do it with some of these companies. They don't want to voluntarily provide the information. But we should not have to go to these extremes to be able to get firmware schematics. We shouldn't have to go out and get x-ray machines or hire radiology services and get x-rays. We should be able to open up the schematic, find the issue, trace the problem down efficiently, and move on. So I don't know if I have any watchers. Probably not. This is a weird stream. So it says I got 3 current viewers. If you guys want to chat, I'm in the chat. And Jamie, well, yeah, this has been a multi-year war. This is a small win. I really, really hope the revision of their manual that they put in there is going to have the schematics. Sorry, I'm still recovering from whatever I had for a couple weeks there. So, but I think Hakko can recover from their pushback. All they're going to have to do is just fully comply, and I think this is I'm optimistic this is a good step. Yeah, here's that email. It says, thank you for your inquiry. As a registered user of the service section of our online knowledge base, you can download the latest firmware for the FM203 soldering station from the firmware section. Note that the service manual is currently under revision, and that's what I'm hoping they're going to put the schematics for any and all revisions of the boards. Just go for it, man. We know you got them. You can't build the boards without them. You know, we're not asking for Gerber files. We're not asking for anything other than schematics and, you know, the basic stuff to diagnose and repair. Hopefully they get posted soon. Now I'm going to show you the email I sent them. I sent this email December 2nd, 2024 at 3:16 a.m. I sent it when I was doing my live, I think I was doing my live stream of the download, or right after that. It says, my message, Hakko FM203 soldering station firmware version 2.0 backup and ISP code recovery was a success. No longer proprietary and confidential, it has been published. Please release the most current firmware and schematics. Pound right to repair. And then I list the offset or the addresses of the code. And then this is the reply email 3 hours ago. I think 3 hours ago. Let me refresh that. Yeah, 3 hours ago. I'm writing them an email saying I appreciate their gesture. This is a good thing. Yeah. Now, QS, you can't go with, you start out nice. You ask them politely, hey, can we get this information? And they're going to say no. Then you got to push. You just got to go full bore, man. You got to be like, you can't, it's what Rossman says, schematics or die. You have to do it. You can't be nice. You got to target everything. You got to make sure they hear you. I'm slurping. I know. I could mute the mic. I need to get a hotkey or figure out the OBS hotkey for muting the mic. But man, I hope I shake whatever this is. It's the remnants. But I hope my audio is fine. I know the stream earlier was just horrible when I tried to do it. I'm not happy with this MediaTek Wi-Fi. I have 0 dropped frames since I plugged it into the router with a cable. Yeah, I don't need anything more on the bench, and this is. I'm in the house. I'm not out in the shop on this. I did that live stream last night. I let it stay public. I usually drop my insomnia live streams because I ramble a bit. My Scott muting an OBS hotkey. Settings hotkey, search for mute. Yeah, I'll get to it one day. That means it'll never happen. Well, Scott, you use Linux. I use Windows. Might be different. No, whenever I do my insomnia ones, I just go in and mark them private. They go away. One second here. But yeah, this is a good thing. If I would not have already uploaded my rant and had it scheduled, but it's public. But hopefully this update lets them know that it's not all bad. I will do a live firmware update. I'll load this firmware up to one of my FM203s live. Probably this weekend. Or I might wait till the schematics come out just to make sure they made no changes, no revisions to the board, because I noticed the offset was different. The offset on the first one was like at 1200. This one, the offset was at 4000. So I want to hopefully review the schematics and make sure there's, they didn't use a different microcontroller or something. I'd hate to. I can't really brick it because I've got a backup of the firmware, but yeah, I'll do a live firmware update. And Jamie, thanks for commenting. Hey, Horst, how's it going? Yeah, been a lot of work. I've been battling a few companies, but Hakko, they were the first. Hopefully this war ends. Chip can be programmed hundreds to thousands of times. So. Got to hit the right button and not turn the video off. Yeah, something's better than nothing in the world of right to repair. You know, but I'm an all in or nothing, man. Full compliance. I don't stop until full compliance. You have to register in the description, the KB site. You have to email them. I hope they still don't require serial numbers and whatever to get access to the stuff. But the kb.hakkousa.com, register that. And it should be up there. It's right here. This site, kb.hakkousa.com. The knowledge base. I'm logged in. And then if you're signed up, you just click on, latest articles or click on service. And here's firmware. FM203. It's right there. Uploaded 3 hours ago. I got it for the 805. Not familiar with the 805 is. It adds. What's the 805? Is it their FX805? Is it their heavy duty soldering station? FX805, it's their heavy duty soldering station. So. And the 305. Nothing in the 305 folder, so that must be coming. Got the 972. Uploaded version 1.01 3 hours ago also. 971 was done a month ago. I never kept up with this website. I checked it every now and then and never seen anything. I figured if they would have updated, they would have emailed me, which they did today because I rattled their cage last night. Yeah, once it's out there, it's out there. I mean, yeah, like Tormach. Tormach was awesome. GitHub. Tormach. Tormach, man. Repair information. They just put it public. You want firmware? Got it. All their control board, just it's there. You want schematics? All their schematics. Series 2 control board. Right there. We got schematics. You know, when when they came out and said they support right to repair, and I knew they didn't, and I called them out, and then Lewis reacted. They actually said, oh yeah, sorry, we screwed up. We actually do support right to repair, and they made a GitHub. This is what, 3 years ago now? So yeah, I brought that up to Chris Stuber a long time ago. I'm like, just make a GitHub, post the files to the GitHub. You don't need to support the files. You just need to make them available. You don't need to make manuals unless they already exist and you want to, and you share them. That's fine. That's great. Yeah, but yeah, we got the firmware. That's a that's a small win. So my last video, y'all can cancel the request. We don't need an FM203 with version 3.01. Hakko has released the firmware version 3.01. Their email says it is the latest. We should thank Hakko for releasing the firmware, but let's not get it too early. Let's see what their manuals come up with, if they've released the schematics. They have a lot of equipment out there. The FX951, the 204, 205. I put requests in for all these. Those are still outstanding documents and requests. So some of them aren't compliant or don't fall within the dates of the California right to repair, but they will fall in to the dates of the Oregon right to repair. And if Pennsylvania right to repair law passes, they'll even older equipment comes in, because I think Pennsylvania is going back to 2001. I would have to read the proposed legislation on that one, but yeah, so it's best just to get ahead of it. Oh, there's Cotty. I see Cotty. Oh, she's freaking out because George is on the patio. It's been frozen, getting down to 32 Fahrenheit or below. That's 0 for you Celsius guys. Oh, you're gonna start hearing her. And George just hangs outside. He's a tough stray. He wants. We can't let him in the house. He's too mean. See, my wife is wrapping the house. Oop. I lost the video. What happened to the video? Well, I lost my video, froze up. What is up with that? Darn it. I mean, my stream's still at 0 frame loss, so wired connection's the thing. Why did I lose my camera? Piece of crap. No, it's still frozen. So it looks like we're just chatting. Maybe that USB-C cable's broke. I'll be right back. Okay, camera's back. We had to unplug that for a minute. Technical difficulties. Yeah, so I'll probably this weekend do a live, maybe Saturday morning. Do live stream up and update the firmware on the FM203. I'm not sure if I want to wait until they release their manuals and hope there's schematics in it and search for any revisions. I mean, it's not a problem if I brick it. I can unbrick it. But and I'll search what the Renaissance tool is for programming that chip that's affordable for people, so they don't have to go out and buy $1,000 programmer. I think there was one that was 50, 60 bucks or something like that. Real inexpensive. I mean, a shop shouldn't have to send their equipment across the country to get it updated. So, I I'm gonna I'll call Hakko and I'll see what it was that convinced them. If it was the Attorney General letter, the social media pressure. Let's see, I don't. Yeah, hopefully it was just them saying, yeah, they decided to comply. But it had been something. I need a haircut. Yeah, but I'm afraid to get a haircut. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm going bald. Yeah, I do have another good right to repair thing coming up. I've been waiting for him to answer a couple questions to finalize it. It's been a year in the works, and it's been all nothing but positive. I mean, there's flat out like Hakko did, no, or try to get around it. The other the other right to repair thing is really awesome. The CEO was top notch, understood right to repair. Oh, I'll fill you in when I'm going to touch base with them, and hopefully I can do that video here shortly, because it's been a year, and I understand his struggles. So, and I'm not going to fault those struggles. So, there's compliance, and then there's non-compliance. And this is the beginning, I hope, of a turnaround for Hakko. Yeah, it's almost midnight on the East Coast, so but again, we want to thank Hakko for providing the FM203 firmware, version 3.01, which is the latest firmware. This is progress. It's good progress. But I'm gonna I'm gonna try to get the shop PC and this PC all wired directly to the router. Because streaming on Wi-Fi is horrible. I have 300 megabit up and 2000 megabit down, so my upload should be fast enough to handle 4K, maybe. But don't forget to like and subscribe, because I have more information on other companies I have not released yet. Some are trying. I give them the benefit of the doubt. One's going to be fairly interesting. I will have to discuss if I can release the information or not. I have verified the information. It's going to be interesting, but we'll go that bridge when we hit that bridge. But hopefully, Hakko don't keep the bridge burnt. Hopefully this little praise helps rebuild the bridge. But I lit the match and watched it burn to the ground. So as I said again, thank you, Hakko, for releasing the FM203 firmware. Thank you for releasing the other firmwares. We're waiting on the schematics. We demand nothing but full compliance. Has anybody reviewed that? There's currently 9 times now. 4 hours ago. It looks like all my regulars have been on. Thank you, Jamie, QS, Horst. I'm going to try to do a bit more live streaming. If I can get more interaction in the chat room, or if you're watching remotely and you text me, I'll respond. So I've only got one viewer. Want to thank the people that have viewed this for watching, interacting. Please like, subscribe. The likes do help in the algorithm. My goal is to get to be at 2,000 subscribers by December 31st. They'll kick the new year off at 2,000. Maybe we should do like 2025 members by December 31st. I got some packages. These are just Amazons. I probably won't do unboxings on them, but I do still plan to get a FX 971 and 972 and do a teardown. And maybe we can check the firmware. I don't know. Maybe we'll audit. Make sure they uploaded the good firmware images. I think they did. I'll put my trust and faith that they uploaded valid information. I gotta put some water in the aquarium. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's getting pretty low. I have to change my filters, so. Yeah, well, thank you, Jamie from Japan. Yeah, I switched over to from Hakko to JBC. JBC's quality is horrible compared to the quality of Hakko, but the power JBC has is superior. For spares, parts, Hakko has an awesome website for ordering any part you want, even here in the United States. But where they were lacking was documentation and firmware. When something fails, you should be able to go in there and replace like a MOSFET or something for $1.50 versus having to spend about what the whole machine costs for a whole entire board. And by having the schematics and documentation, most people that are running the higher end Hakko stuff, they're technicians. They're competent enough generally to go board level and do a repair. And that's why I was so hard on Hakko and am hard on Hakko, is because that's their target market. That is a big market of theirs, is the repair technician. Yeah, some of us repair technicians, we work on items that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and you know, lives are at stake with some of this equipment also. So, being able to go board level on a soldering station shouldn't be a problem for companies to provide the information. I've been, yeah, I really liked my Hakko desoldering gun. That it didn't clog that often. It was pneumatic, so it was quiet. I'm not sure which desoldering gun. I think one was the FM 2024. It was super simple to clean, super simple to change tips. Compared to the JBC, it's a pain in the butt to change tips. The tube on them's too long, and it clogs up a little bit more frequently. To clean it, you have to take the whole thing apart. And it's an electric pump, which I really wanted the pneumatic, but I wasn't gonna spend a whole lot extra to go a la carte on it because they didn't offer a kit with the pneumatic, just the electric. So, hello, good guy Chase. Yes, big win for right to repair. Well, little win too, but big win. Anything with right to repair, getting firmware schematics, even if it's just a single page of schematics from a volume, it's a win. But this is a little win. Did you see the email? I'll go back to that. I'll reference back to their email. It says, Mr. Ryan, thank you for your inquiry. Because I sent him the live stream I did where I backed up the microcontroller and got the in-circuit programming code. I sent him the code. It says, as a registered user of the service section of our online knowledge base, you can download the latest firmware for the FM203 soldering station from the firmware section. Note that the service manual is currently under revision. Like I said, I hope they're going to put the schematics requests in there because I did request schematics for any and all revisions, and will be posted in the manual section as soon as it becomes available. So hopefully they put the schematics in there, and hopefully they fully comply with right to repair. We shall see. I don't. If y'all know me so far, I don't give up. But good guy Chase, thanks for stopping in. This is a big win. And a little win. Yeah, I explained it to him a year and a half ago. When I had conversations with Chris Stuber, it's like, you guys should really be the first company to embrace this because it'll make you all stand out much more than any other company, and then other people will be following you. But they didn't go with that, so. But I hope this is because of the work of Chris Stuber. He did I think he tried initially to convince him to do it. I mean, from the phone call, it sounded like he tried to convince him, and then it sounded like he just didn't care. But you can see that phone call on the YouTube. So I'll link it in the descriptions if you want to come back to this video later. So it's been almost an hour live stream. Some people might be trickling in, I don't know. I get a lot of late night views, so probably from people other countries. The Better Business Bureau they have no authority. They're just a place for the public to complain, and it's keep it a public record. The AG, I was amazed when I got a letter from them. I discussed with some investigators of what I needed to provide, and I provided all that information. And I submitted the form in the format that was requested. And they said they need a lot of people to do it. I tried to get as many people as I could to file complaints. And they said if there's enough complaints, the way right to repair law in California was written, at the $5,000 a day mark, it don't take a lot of complaints for the hammer to fall and for it to be a real financial hardship on a company with the fines. But with the Attorney General complaints, anybody wanting to complain on right to repair, you need to get your complaint into the Attorney General as soon as possible, because those fines, they compound daily. It's not like they get a $5,000 fine and it's done. That's a $5,000 a day fine. I think it starts for the first complaint, it's $2,000 or $1,000. Then the second complaint is $2,000. Each third and each subsequent complaint is $5,000 a day. But the AG generally, what they'll do, how the flow goes is you make your complaint. If there's enough complaints, they'll generally answer it and send that same letter to the business and get a response back from them. And that response back is like talking to a cop. You don't want to be having that letter come from the AG, because however you respond to it back can be used against you. So if they would have responded to the AG letter with the same way they responded to the Better Business Bureau, I'm sure the AG would have taken it further, or will take it further. We shall see. I mean, the ball's already rolling down the hill. I don't know if it can be stopped. A lot of companies, when they hear, oh, we're going to complain, we're going to do a lawsuit, generally people don't follow through. And Jamie, let me get your message here. The issue with these Japanese companies is that they are so slow to react to anything. It takes a huge amount of paperwork and a lot of departments to get anything done here. Yeah, I've been to Japan. Now, don't seem to be my experience. Yeah, I used to deliver airplanes, and I've delivered a couple to Japan. And I'm pretty familiar with working with some Japanese people. Generally, they're pretty pleasant people. They're pretty stubborn too sometimes. I mean, the Saudis can be stubborn. The Syrians can be stubborn. People from Qatar are really stubborn. So it's just not Japan. Yeah, repair.org has contacted me, but I asked them, has their method worked or produced anything? I asked them that today, and I don't think their methods are going to work. So far, my methods of tracking down the CEOs, contacting the CEOs, that's generally works. It gets the ball rolling at least. It don't get, you'll call customer service, you'll talk to some manager somewhere. They have no way to make a decision. But you trace somebody down, you get a cell phone number and you call them up, it's their wife. It raises their eyebrows. You start talking to them and you explain what right to repair is. You're not asking for the keys to the kingdom. You're not asking for Gerber files. You're asking for schematics to diagnose. And usually they get the ball rolling, they get things going, and as long as it's not a flat no or some BS excuse, usually I just put it aside, give them some time to sort it out. A month or two later, I'll touch bases with them. I started this before the laws went into effect. I still have a whole bunch of companies I need to follow up with. But Hakko's the one that said flat out no. And they gave a bunch of, you guys can listen to the videos and see all the information. So it's all on the channel. Yeah, well, HP, they came out in support of SB244. But in California's right to repair, it's the Apple out. Let me pull that up here. Screen's going to go black. It's just going to be me. Got to get that up here. Okay. SB244, the Apple out. Okay. This was added at the last minute to SB244. Okay, we've got SB244 up right here. I know black screens are bad etiquette, but oh well. I'm not a professional videographer. SB 244. Let's see. Right here, Section K. It says, this is the out for any of the bigger companies. It says, this section shall not apply if the manufacturer provides an equivalent or better readily available replacement electronic or appliance product at no charge to the customer. Okay, that is what HP, Apple, when this bill was on the floor getting discussed, when they were legislating, that is their out. So if you've got an iPhone that falls within the right to repair, they can just say, yeah, anybody in 7 years, all these phones have 7-year warranty now or longer. We'll just replace them all, and then they don't have to. That's compliance with SB 244. So a lot of the big companies, HP, Apple, from my discussion with legislatures, that's what happened behind the doors. So, Section K. Yeah, I don't know if it was, the social pressure or the AG complaint or inquiry. But, yeah, and you guys, if you're a repair shop and you do business in any of these right to repair states, you have what is called an economic nexus. If you list on Mercari, eBay, if you're listing your services and you pay into the tax-based system, you qualify under these rules as an economic nexus. So if your customers in California, they can choose to have you repair their device. And by having that economic nexus there, you have the right to request from the manufacturer on behalf of your client, or just because you offer services in that state and pay into the tax base, access to what's required in the right to repair. That's how it was explained to me. So I'm gonna trust the person that explained that to me. So, but enforcement, we only have a few options, and those options are not in the civil litigation system. I did try contacting a few attorneys that did consumer protection work. The law's too new. It's outside the scope of their practice. They're going to have to research it. Some said, yeah, you can do it. Others said they just don't want to. There's no money in it for them. So the cost to litigate it in civil court would exceed what you would get out of it. So the model legislation needs to be slightly modified for better consumer protections on right to repair for a civil remedy. and I have a conversation with somebody in the Washington State Senate to possibly add those. Hopefully, I can get permission to make a stream out of the Zoom conversation if the meeting happens first of the year, because I think Washington is coming up again this next session. I haven't got the schedule yet, but I hope it gets passed. Usually, when Oregon passes something, Washington passes it. Usually falls it'll either go California, Oregon, Washington, or Washington, Oregon, California. The whole left coast shifts. So. Yeah, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving no legal advice here. So, yeah. But hold them accountable. Hold their feet over the fire, man. Make it burn. You know, most people are too passive, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to burn the bridge because I still want to be able to buy from them or whatever." Burn that bridge. Make it hurt. It's go public, go live. Just it's the only way that seems to be effective. Okay. I ain't going to respond to that one. Okay. Who was that? A Sal Krishkia? Did I miss a chat? I got live chat. Somebody said a heart. Definitely subscribe for more stuff like this. Okay. Oh, it's the malicious compliance. You'll just watch some of my old videos on this subject. The malicious compliance, where they comply just enough to maybe comply, but it defeats the spirit of the law. It doesn't even come close to the intent of the legislation. In most laws, when you read them, it has an intent. On SB 244 here, almost all laws have an intent. So this one is, it is the intent of the legislature to provide a fair marketplace for the repair of electronic and appliance products and prohibit intentional barriers and limitations to third-party repair. Okay, it gives a blanket intent. I mean, you go look at a speed limit law, you're going to find an intent. And that is when people start going astray, or when these companies go astray. You want to look at the intent of the law. And if they do compliance and it don't meet the intent of the law, that is considered malicious compliance. And a lot of people, that's hard to fight, but you can fight it. You can put them in compliance. You know, if a company says, "Oh yeah, we created a manual," and it shows you how to take it apart, how to measure one part, and how to put it back together, technically that's a repair manual. But that's not the intent of the legislation. So you read further in right to repair. Yeah, just Control F, schematics. Okay. Where's that at? Okay, it says, notwithstanding any other law, every manufacturer of an electronic or appliance with a wholesale price of the retailer or to others outside of direct retail sale of not less than $50 or not more than $90.99 shall make available to the owner of a product, service and repair facilities and service dealers sufficient documentation and functional parts and tools inclusive of any updates on a fair and reasonable terms, which fair and reasonable terms is below, to effect the diagnosis, maintenance, or repair of a product for at least 3 years. Okay, if it's over $99, it goes to 7 years. Okay, this will vary from state to state, but even if it exceeds the warranty period. So, if you go down to documentation, it says documentation, the means of an electronic means any electronic or appliance product manual, diagram, reporting output, service code description, schematic, or similar information that is provided by a manufacturer to an authorized repair provider. Okay, this is where they'll push back to say, we don't have an authorized repair provider. We're the repair provider. Well, we'll get to that in a second. It says, or that is used by the manufacturer if the manufacturer does not have an authorized repair provider for this purpose of effecting services of diagnosis, maintenance, or repair of an electronic or appliance product. So basically, if they don't have a third-party provider and they do it, they're the repair provider. And when they come up and say, we don't have schematics, BS. How'd they produce the product? Okay. So it's all right here. And California is the legislative model. So yeah, it hurts the small repair shop. That's all it does. It hurts good guy Chase. That's all it does is hurt. Non-compliance and malicious compliance hurts the small repair shop. The manufacturers, if they have to rely on repair and service, they're bound to fail. So, I mean, if that's their bread and butter, you have to wonder if they're intentionally making the items, what do they call it, failed obsolescence, making them fail at a certain time. So like, yeah, after about 56, 5,000 hours of use, this part's going to fail, and we know we're going to be able to hold the person over a barrel for that part, or sell them a new device. So, and if they're the only ones for the parts, the customer's screwed. The small repair shop's screwed because it's going to cost more than the device is worth to fix, versus having a schematic to diagnose it efficiently, quickly, because time is money, to be able to repair the device economically. So, gotta remember to check my phone messages. Nothing. So Oregon right to repair goes into effect January 1st. So, you guys, be ready. Some companies, they're saying, well, they don't want to comply. Those requests are going out. So even some of the companies that have said, yeah, we're going to comply with California, and the dates of California, Oregon pushes it back to 2015. Like I said, Pennsylvania, I hope, goes back to 2001 or 2000 or 2004. I don't think they've decided yet where theirs is going to end or start, where products need to be covered. But I think it should cover everything. I mean, as long as the company's still in business. But yeah, these not until the law makes us. Law's making you. That's what we say to those people. But again, I want to say thank you to Hakko for the people joining in. If there's anybody joining in, firmware, that's a good start. Yeah, I don't have a habit of, other than my Insomnia Live videos, making those unlisted or unlisting one after it's been scheduled or published. So I really hope this is good. Silver Star right now. Not gold yet. We're starting. This is the beginning. I hope it's good. But I learned to be optimistic, but reserved. So if they could be just, here's a little firmware, shut up. It could be. Like I said, thank you, Hakko, for providing the firmware. You know, it kind of solves my issue, my main beef. You know, I wanted to run the 2030 iron, but I couldn't. And they're like, oh, you have to send your unit to us for update. Why? I'm very competent and able to. That's what I do. Is I program chips, man. It's it's I do a lot of chip programming. I do circuit board repair and chip programming. I'm more than competent. I don't know where Cotty is. Usually she's up right here on the table. Let me see if I can find Cotty. Nope. I'm not a coder. I don't, you know, if I need to do serialization or something, I can enter that into the software and it'll do all the, enter the addresses for the serialization, but I don't write code. I am very ignorant on any of the assembly, any of the languages for writing the code. I'm a pick it, stick it, man. You got a chip that needs programmed, and you've got the file. I'll program the chip. My equipment can handle. It's looking like 140,000 different devices so far, plus some because that's just one manufacturer, Zeltec. And you've got the Surgers and you've got the BP Microsystems. It's the hardware and equipment. I've got adapters that'll do some FPGAs from the 80s and 90s. I've got, I just invested this summer in some data I/O equipment to do some old chips from the 70s and 80s. Because I'm for myself, I'm getting back into some arcade repair, and I want to be able to do those older chips, which my modern equipment don't support. So, and by being able to do those older chips, whenever I do get the requests for those older chips, I'll be able to do them for people. And I have had the older chip requests, like the TMS 2716, 2708, some old Logic, and the more devices you can do in the chip programming business, the more your reputation gets spread around. So you don't want somebody saying, oh, I contacted the guy and he couldn't program a simple basic chip. There goes your rep. So yeah, old programmers. I've done a couple of videos from some people with arcades. There's a guy like with a Mortal Kombat 3. He needed a chip that was an oddball one programs. Somebody decoded it. A lot of the logic devices, they're locked, and you can decode them nowadays with the modern equipment, which would have been very, very difficult back in the 80s and 90s. So that they're not as secure as modern stuff. But somebody decoded it and posted it, and he needed a chip. So, it's quick and simple. I did a video for it on it. I made sure I asked to be able to do a video because most chip programming is done under non-disclosure agreements. They don't want you making it public. So, but excuse me, I'm gonna get me a coffee. It's 10 o'clock and I'm gonna be drinking coffee. So, it'll probably end up being another Insomniac video, or I'll just keep this one going. I don't know. If more people pop in, ask questions. Ask me anything tonight. I know my videos are mainly unboxings and just crap I like to do that I would watch. So, be right back. I'm going to make me coffee. Okay, fresh cup of coffee. Gavin, if the Chinese wanted to knock off the stuff, they're going to do it, regardless if the documentation's out there or not. It's not a concern. If if they want to knock it off, they're going to knock it off. It's not like they don't already do it. It's not a difficult for people in China. It's labor's cheap there. If they wanted to knock it off in China, all they would have to do is take it apart. That's it. Take it apart, piece by piece. Pull every part off, scan it, reproduce it. If they wanted to do it, they would have already done it. So this has been debated and legislated. It's not as big as people think it is. So, we already discussed this. Somebody on my other video said, "Oh well, we'll just sell them a chip." That's fine. Sell us a chip at a fair and reasonable cost with that firmware on it. Lock it. That's not a problem. But if the item costs $100, don't charge us $90 for the chip. Make it fair and reasonable. That chip costs you 50 cents. Charge us $10 for the chip, $5 for the chip. And fair and reasonable is in the right to repair, which means it costs with little bit of research. Yeah, Hakko, they provided the firmware. It's the man. It's why are they doing this? We're gonna have to ask them on the aftermath what it was, why they did not want to comply. But we do have the FM203 firmware. I mean, during my Better Business Bureau complaint, I gave them a quick, easy out, and they basically ignored me. It was crickets. So, and that out expired. So it's full compliance. So yeah, I don't know why they're coming around now for the firmware, which we appreciate the firmware. It's great for them to provide it. We don't know if it was social pressure, the Attorney General complaint. We don't know what it was that's caused this 180. Yeah, I even told Hakko when I was discussing with Chris Stuber more than a year ago, like, if you guys made this documentation available for, schematics, say charge $20 as an actual product on your website, and I recommend all manufacturers do this right now. If you want to sell your IP, your schematics and whatever, post the product. I'm all for you to be able to profit off your, reasonably. Don't charge, $1,000 for a schematic. Make it reasonable. 10, 20 bucks, within the norms, like what, what, what a normal company charges for Sam's, whatever. It's 20 bucks for a schematic, 15 bucks for a schematic. Because I was against the fair and reasonable in SB 244, where they mandated that the company give the information away. I was like, no, I don't agree with that. I believe they should have been able to charge for their schematics. And I told Hakko, put it up on your website, because some of the legislators that I spoke with, they're like, yeah, that's where they're going to fight it. Because you can't compel somebody to give something away, especially if they've been selling it ahead of time. That's their only defense. They're like, okay, well, if they were selling it at $20 for the schematic, and then the legislator comes and says, no, you have to give that away, then they have damages. But if they weren't making it available for sale and the legislator says, oh, well, you have to give it away now, they really ain't got to fight. That was my understanding of it, and that's the way it was explained to me. And I explained that to Chris Stuber. I explained that to a lot of companies. So, hello, Sal. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, speaking of knocking off, JBC. If you look at JBC's new soldering iron they're hyping up, or desoldering iron, it's just a knockoff of the old vintage Weller. It's all the same company. It's all the same players. Hakko, the American side, it's all the same players. In the description of my videos, I provide their attorney information. Yeah, Japanese has a different market. But yeah, if any manufacturers are watching this, before your state passes right to repair, just comply. If you want, if you want to be able to have some sort of a fight in it, and I hate being an what do they call it? An opponent of it. Take that advice. Put your schematics up, charge for them. Because then when the state says you have to give it away, that's, I believe it's the taking clause. It's under, what, Fourth Amendment? Can't take things from you. So that's the key. But then you're not anti-repair, you're for repair. You're making the schematics and documentation available at a fair and reasonable terms. So, but that's unreasonable. Some companies just like, no. Okay. That's all we say to them. So be it. If you want the law to make you, if you come at that situation, the law is going to make you. And you might not like what the law makes you do. So yeah, we have firmware for people that are joining. Hakko emailed me. I'll pop the email up again. There it is right there. I guess they're revising their manuals. Like I said, I hope they provide schematics of all revisions as requested. Here's the firmware. I have checked the firmware out. Right here. It has data. And the code in it, what was the address? FFDF, locate. There's the security code was close but not exact, so not security code but ID code to be able to in-circuit program. So even if I would have had a FM203 in my last video, a request for one, we couldn't have programmed, backed it up in circuit. We would have had to pull the chip off and back it up to be able to get the code being used, which is slightly different. The original code was 484B3030323536, and the code for the version 3.0 is 484B3032353642. So that might be changing here shortly. Sal, I've been pushing for schematics for Hakko to comply with right to repair. They have provided the firmware tonight. I'm assuming the revision of their manual is going to be for the schematic compliance part of it. I hope it is. If they start providing schematics, we'll give them time. It's going to take a little while. It shouldn't take too long because they're going to have the schematics. But yeah, I really dislike it when people wipe chips. Wipe the part number completely off and put a proprietary number on it, or just wipe it off completely. But as a chip programmer, you do what your customer wants. So if they want you to wipe the chip, you wipe the chip. You blanket. So I'm guilty. Maybe I should change my policies, but no, if you want to survive in the business, you can't change your policies on that. But I would say 1% of the companies out there wipe the chip. I mean, I've only done it a handful of times myself for customers, but they're small, little mom and pop customers. They're not, it's somebody building something small that they're selling on their personal website. It's different than if they're HP, Hakko, JBC, Metcal, Pace, these bigger companies. they shouldn't be doing it. And if one of those companies came up to me and said, I want you to do, program me 200,000 chips and I want them all wiped, I'm going to say no. But if it's, hey, program me 150, 200 chips and wipe them and put our part number, that's fine. There is a limit. But I've only bid on a couple 100,000 lots recently because I got a production programmer. It'll do about 1,000 chips per hour. So my max was, 5,000 chips doing them by hand. But as we're seeing in the industry, it's trickling down. A lot of things are going just in circuit programming only. So I think the actual physical parallel programming of chips and actual adapters and sockets, unless they're high volume, smaller volume stuff's just, they just put a header in and program it in circuit. So I think the days of getting trays of chips and programming them and sending them to a board house for assembly are pretty limited. But man, during the pandemic, I wish I would have had this production programmer back then. I would have been happy. So Sal, where are you from? Indonesia. Hey, the weather's better there than it is here, man. It's like 0°C, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I've been married for 30 years this June. Yeah, you can tell the character of somebody if they can keep a marriage together. Oh, well, I'll let her know. She's wrapping every picture in the house for Christmas. She's got her earbuds in or I'd yell it out to her, Sal. But Yeah, I still got to follow up on the Milwaukee tools. Ooh, you open it, it voids your warranty. Wonder if I can change the title while I'm actually live streaming. I don't think I can. How do it? I don't see any option here to change the title. I was going to put AMA, Ask Me Anything. Since it's a long stream. I'm still recovering from whatever chest cold I had. It kind of felt like pneumonia, but it had me down for 2.5, almost 3 weeks. Yeah, I had a customer bring in a heated jacket power supply. It caught fire. Literally burnt up an inductor in her pocket, and that's all it was an inductor. But I couldn't just jumper the inductor and give it back and have it be safe. And I called up for the inductor value, and there's proprietary and confidential information. And oh, you opened it. Yeah, it voids all warranties. So yeah, that video's that actual phone call is, if you search Milwaukee on my channel, you'll hear it. I need to follow up on that. Yeah, I've got. I'm very restrained. I have so many phone calls, some dirt. Oh, I have to be restrained on it. I had to hold back a lot of these calls. A lot of the information I find on some of these CEOs. Well, Sal, when the United States goes federally on right to repair, it's going to trickle around the world. Because you can't provide schematics and documentation to one country and not expect it to spread to other countries. So it's gonna spread. Yeah, right to repair has a lot of work to go. I mean, there's still some holes, still some issues with it. But if you own it, you own it. You should be able to do what you want with it, repair it. The documentation should be there. It shouldn't be hidden, withheld. It has to be. There's going to be some. I think coming up here in the next 4 years, right to repair is gonna. It's gonna excel. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I I need to check on the schedule for Washington State Legislature because I want to testify in both the House and the Senate again this year. I've only been able to hit the Senate because the Senate keeps updating on the emails. And Washburg, they kind of notify you. I'm not a good public speaker. I think this is live is going to be good practice for me to learn to publicly speak. Psychro. Just by JBC, they sell parts and give you the software with updates. I know they cost, but it's worth it. But they still don't give schematics. And their quality is shit. Put it that way. Look at my experience switching from Hakko to JBC. It was a nightmare. And I don't swear that often. I hold back. But yeah, JBC's customer service is shit. Yeah. Their quality control is horrible. There's reports of the 4 channels bricking. You open them up and there's bodged capacitors. They look like they're made in a sweatshop in China somewhere by unskilled labor. They claim they're made in the EU, but don't think so. You know, Hakko's quality is top notch. Everyone I've opened up, all the boards been clean, no flux. They're nice condition. The build quality on a Hakko is really good. And now if they get the documentation going, I might switch back to Hakko. I don't know. I'm going to probably buy one of their 971, 972s and do a teardown of them, unless somebody else beats me to it. I haven't seen a teardown of them yet. They're new machines. And Sycro, SYCRO. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I don't know why Hakko gave such the pushback on the firmware when almost every other manufacturer out there provides firmware updates downloadable. But for people that are skipping around, here was the email from Hakko. Guess they're revising their service manual. Hopefully their revisions include schematics of all revisions of the board. That is compliance with right to repair, and hopefully they provide it with all the other equipment. And you know, they don't have to create a new manual. They can just provide the schematics, you know. Just like Tormach did. They just created a GitHub and uploaded them, and you're on your own. They even state you're on your own. We provide these for the people that are wanting to attempt the repair on their own, or third-party repair shops. They don't support the documentation. You know, they don't want you calling up and saying, well, we need help reading the schematic. No, that's not part of right to repair, and I don't blame them. Well, thank you for subscribing, Psychro. My goal is to get 2,000 or 2,025 subscribers by December 31st. So. Where you read the IC. I'm not sure. Is that the video you seen where I read the chip? Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past one of these companies to say, oh, well, your tip expires. You need to pay a renewal fee. It's going to happen one day. I have a feeling, you know. And they say, oh, well, you've used 10 tips. You need to re-up your subscription to have another 10 tips to be used. We shouldn't be giving them ideas, guys. Hey, Oregon, that's Apple's downfall, man. No pairing, but don't go into effect until like 2027. So, but they were hoping. Apple successfully lobbied out the pairing out of California's, but they were unsuccessful in Oregon. So, and it seems like every state that has been building upon right to repair is giving more to the consumer for protections than to the manufacturers. So things are looking up. They're very optimistic for right to repair. So you can't give up. That's where people fail, is they give up. Keep the pressure on. Keep their feet over the fire. You can go quiet for a while. I mean, quiet sometimes, and then re-emerging later puts their feet over the fire even more, because then they get comfortable. They think you went away. No, you didn't. Yeah, I can see I can see without right to repair how it would go. Yeah, our soldering stations can they're capable of 750 degrees, but unless you pay us a fee, we're going to limit you down to 600 and hobble it in software. We'll limit you to 700 degrees. If you want high power, you got to pay a license fee. You get up to 750, 800 degrees. Okay, shh. No more bad ideas. Subscription-based soldering. Sal, that's a good one. Cycro, you're very lucky you got decent units. Did you see the ones I got? Whew. Let me pull that up. I'll post the link. I need to find out the plugin that people are using to get, if I'm gonna be doing this lives more often, how to get it to pop up the chat on the screen. I need to figure that out. But I posted in the in the chat the link to my JVC transition from Hakko to JVC. Was not pleasant, and I should have known because I used to have a JVC, one of the flat, long, weird hot air stations, and a sensor went out in it, and they were fuck you buy another. Yeah. I should have learned. That was back in 2009, maybe 2000. Yeah, something like that. I put all my soldering equipment up in the attic when I went flying airplanes around the world for about 10 years. That might have been 2013. I think it might have been around 2013. They told me, F you, buy another. Sensor was unavailable. And what's the part number? Can't tell you. So thankfully I had my old Hakko 850D tractor. And it lit right up. I replaced the heating element and I used it up until I got my Quick just a few years ago. It lasted a very, very long time. Hold on a second. Sal said he watched my videos and Sal said, happy birthday. He's from Indonesia. She gave you a thumbs up, Sal. I relayed your message. Happy birthday to her. She says thank you. She's got a smile on her face. 2 hours, 16 minutes into this live chat. Yeah, pause. I gotta mute the audio real quick. Okay. Yeah, then I'm wired. I have 0 drop frames, so looks like I'm drilling holes and fishing wire this week. Yeah, I got that Asus X670E creator with Wi-Fi. It's got a MediaTek card and it drops frames. Yeah, I bought a cleaner. I got the Senior. I bought it used. Let me pull it up here. I'll put it right here. Hey, this is the tip cleaner I got. I had the Hakko FT700. Don't recommend that one. But I tore it down, cleaned it, fixed the bearings, got a new belt, brushes. Absolutely awesome. I'm still on my first set of brushes. I figured the brushes would be about equal to Hakko, but no, they're far superior. It is the best cleaner I've used myself, so. Yeah, this is my blog, guys. If you don't see much updates on the YouTube, check my blog. Usually if you see a video and I don't update it, check the post. I'll usually update my blog before I update my YouTube, if I even update my YouTube at all. I don't make money on YouTube. I get money off my blog. But yeah, here's like the JVC JTE 1A. If you open it up, factory bodge. And they don't want to release the firmware on that one, so I'm going to attempt a backup on it one day. So here's their MSEA, their desolder controller. Look at the flux. You know, on the Hakko equipment, if you open it up, you're not going to see flux and hot snot everywhere on it. Yes, Cycro. I really wanted their pneumatic. I didn't want their electric, but I couldn't find. They didn't have a package deal. They wanted you to buy a la carte, and that makes the price even more if you wanted the pneumatic version of the desolder. But I prefer pneumatic. Pneumatic is instant air, or instant vacuum, no delay. The pump has to spool up. So, in my experience in the past, was the electric ones clog up way more than the pneumatics. Uh-oh. Well, George just showed up. George the stray. And he shows up and taps on the window, and the dogs go crazy. And there's the other one. You can hear Shadow. Yeah, I was thinking about making my own. I've got Venturi valves. I've got a couple of the Hakko controllers, but yeah, I'd rather just. I ain't got time. I am doing here a 2.5 hour live stream, but that's my time. Yeah, I still want to get my Nordsons here for dispensing flux and solder. I got all my connectors, everything. I just got busy. They got put on the back burner. Yeah, I got to get to this project. I got to make me a button. You guys ain't seeing that. That was bad right here. Nordson right there. These are my dispensers I'm going to be using. Yeah, I think one day I'll be setting up my workbench. I told the wife I'd have it done by December, but it's December, so yeah, it's time I testified in front of Washington State Senate. So be sure to check my website out if you're watching this later on. Link is in the description. Link will be in the description. Yeah, Surger's another company. They're pretty good with right to repair. Took a little bit of push, but they provided schematics and firmware for this Surger Flasher 5. It was a little tough, but I was able to get a hold of the founder of the company, and he made it happen. And I was able to repair one of my flashers. So, good shout out to Surger. Or Seger, however you pronounce them. That makes them really good programmers. So. Yeah, sometimes homebrewing something up is way better than what you can buy. With 3D printing nowadays, making enclosures and stuff is not that difficult if you understand the CAD software. Yeah, I was trying to pull up that Hakko. I'll just search it here. There it is. Here's the Hakko. These are great little Venturi system. I mean, I could probably adapt this over to the JBC and have it control it. Air valve. Very simple, single-sided board, man. But yeah, Hakko provided the firmware for the FM203 and a few other machines, waiting on schematics. So. Yeah, that was I called that my tractor, man. 850D. That was workhorse, man. That thing paid for itself time after time after time. I don't remember what I paid for the 850D. I think it was like $1,000, $1,200 back in the day. Yes, we still need schematics. Yep. I tried the Atten. If I wouldn't have got my Quick, I would have kept the Atten. The Atten's a really capable machine. It had really good performance. It was a nice machine for, $200. It's, I am from Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon area, Pacific Northwest in the United States. And Psychro, again, where were you from? I don't think I asked. I think I asked Sal. I think Sal was from Indonesia, and you are. Maybe I should leave it on my blog. Croatia. Hey, closest I've been there is Rome, or Athens. Oh, don't say never, man. Be optimistic. You might come to the United States one day. I might go to Croatia one day. I know I need to visit some friends in Turkey. But I think I'm going to end this stream here. It's been 2.5 hours, and I got stuff I need to do here. Eat. I don't need to eat. It's a big old fat face. But, be sure to like, subscribe. It helps in the algorithm. My goal is to get to 2025 by December 31st. I'm at like 1800-ish now. I'm not sure if I picked up any subscribers on this stream, but I want to thank everybody for watching, joining, chatting. It's been fun. Catch y'all later.